Hello, hello, it's Kelsey with Shipwreck Beads, and we are here on this lovely Wednesday. How are you all doing? There's nobody here yet, so I'm just gonna talk for a little bit, I guess. So it's Wednesday, and it is beautiful outside. I think I already said that. And I don't know. I'm just having a total mind blank. Anyways, how was your week so far? How's your weekend? This weekend I had a really quiet weekend. It was really nice. Went berry picking with a coworker. Got a bunch of blueberries and blackberries that I need to do something with real soon. I think I'm going to make a cobbler with the blackberries. And then Sunday was just kind of a nice, easy day around the house. Got some cleaning done. Just kind of did some gardening. I'm quite a fan of plants, and actually our project today has to do with plants, so I'm very excited about that. I don't know if you've seen on our Facebook page, but we posted our like and comment giveaway early. I don't actually have, cobbler, I love cobbler, especially hot out of the oven with some vanilla ice cream. That's the way to go. There's a really easy recipe on Pinterest where you just take a box of cake mix and some butter, and I think that's all that you use, and then you bake it, and it's super easy. It's on Pinterest. Look on Pinterest. Pinterest is a great place. Shipwreck Beads has a Pinterest too, by the way. You can check our page and see some inspiration, some great ideas. I also want to say congratulations to our winners. See who they were. We'll let you know. I know Caitlin Mall was one of them. And I know Caitlin watches these videos, so congratulations to you. That little amethyst pack is gorgeous. Actually, I have one of the little rocks that I showed you in the video on Friday. I wire wrapped one of them and put them on a necklace. Just super simple pendant. So Caitlin Mall was one of our winners, as was Mar Heath. And right now we've got another giveaway going on where you can win another gorgeous prize pack. Let me see if I can show you here. So that's on our Facebook page right now. Aren't those gorgeous? There's some little flower beads, some little matte acrylic pieces, some Swarovski crystal. Our buyers are really going through their offices, and yeah, Tara, if you want to bring it on over, that'd be great. I'm sure people would way rather see the beads than a picture on my phone. It's a beautiful, oh, they're glass, not acrylic. Okay, sorry, my bad. But yeah, I'm sure people would rather see a picture of, or the beads in person instead of just a picture on my phone. She's coming, I hear her. Here's Tara.
These are not acrylic. These are the sol gel coating.
Okay.
On glass.
Well, I was wondering about these little matte hearts were the ones.
Those are the sol gel samples.
Oh, they are too.
Indeed.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
So we're gonna pick 3 winners this time. 3 of these prize packs. I'm gonna go ahead and angle you down and dump one of these out so you can see how cool all this stuff is. So it looks like each of these are a little bit different, but you've got these glass flower petals. Some of these frosted hearts, and I don't know if you ever heard, but they've got the sol gel coating on them. And these are some great things. This is just stuff that came off of sample cards, samples that were sent to us. It's not stuff that we actually carry. So if you love this stuff, make sure and scroll down our page. Actually, the picture's probably pinned to the top. Comment, like that post, and we're gonna pick 3 winners here. So hopefully you've been participating in those giveaways. We've been doing a whole lot of them. But let's go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then we can get started. So we're going to do a little bit of hammering today, some playing around with wire and crystals. I'm really excited. This project that I'll be showing you is actually what I did for the Christmas presents I gave to all of my friends and family and stuff like that. And so it's really pretty, really sparkly, a lot of fun. So I've got some air plants here. I've got a couple different ones. I just got these off of Amazon. Hello, let's zip that up a little bit. So I've got these just off of Amazon. It was a 5-pack. Hold on, let me grab the other ones. So these are some of the other ones that I got too, and I've got plans for these guys to go into some other little planters. But yeah, just off Amazon. It was a 5-pack. I think it was like $15 or something like that. You can also probably find them locally at your garden store. Air plants are super easy to care for. That's why I love them. Because all you do is you soak them in water for about 15 minutes once every week or two, depending on how hot and humid it is. And that's it. They don't need to be in dirt. They don't need to do anything. So they're just a lot of fun, a really nice, easy way to add some green. And we're going to make a little hanging planter for one of these guys. So I've got some aluminum wire in, I believe this is a 12 gauge and an 18 gauge. We'll be using both of these. I really like the aluminum. It's very soft and easy to work with, and it won't tarnish and it won't rust. Yeah, Tara got one of the planters because she got me a really awesome calendar. So yeah, so we're gonna use this wire. It doesn't rust, so it won't harm your plant at all. And again, it's really easy to work with and really easy to use. So I also have a selection of sparkly fun stuff here in an assortment. It's all Swarovski crystal. Got these new pendants. I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to use on the end of my planter yet. I pulled them both though because they're so pretty and I haven't gotten a chance to play with them yet. I also have some of the, we've got some smaller sizes too that again, I don't know if we'll use them, but I wanted to pull them to show you. And then I grabbed some of the scarab beads because they're just really freaking adorable. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and cut, I don't know, what is that, about 2 feet of wire? It's not really an exact science. I've got my memory wire cutters because this wire, even though it's really soft, I don't want to use my regular cutters on it. The shelf looking, do you mean shell? So there's this shell shape, and then this one is sort of a lotus pod, seed pod shape, and they're both really cool. So I'm really excited to use these because I think they're really going to sparkle a whole lot. So I went ahead and cut my wire. Again, I used my memory wire cutters on the thicker gauge just because I don't want to take a chance damaging the cutters. So I'm going to go ahead and just really lightly take my file and sort of smooth down the edge. You don't really need to, but I just prefer the way that it looks with more of a smooth finished edge. And these memory wire cutters actually cut pretty straight, so these are actually Swarovski crystals, so they're not glass, they're crystal. They're gorgeous. We've got them in a few different colors. I'll post the link, or Tara, if you'd like to post the link to them also, you can do that. But yeah, they're Swarovski crystal, and they're from their latest launch. I don't know what they're called. I should probably look that up. Okay, so I've got my wire. I filed down my ends a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because it's so soft, I'm going to work harden it a little bit. Got my brass hammer. I use it a lot and have taken it to different events and stuff. So it's got my little Shipwreck Beads thing so it doesn't get mixed up. And I've got a bench block here also. And just to sort of dampen the noise, I'm going to take this super duper old catalog from winter 2010 and use that sort of underneath my bench block to dampen the noise. Another reason to sort of texture this just a little bit, and again, I'm not doing a whole bunch here, but another good reason to texture is because it is so soft, it's really easy to mar it with your tools when you're working with it. So if you give it a little bit of texture from the get-go, then you won't really notice those, you won't really notice if you accidentally, mar it with your your pliers. And actually the aluminum wire is soft enough where you can take just a regular set of pliers and just kind of, see, I don't know if you can tell, but you can just kind of press with a decent amount of pressure and create some texture with your pliers just by doing that. We'll go ahead and now I went ahead and worked the wire a little bit, and it's a little more stiff than it was. So now we're going to go ahead and start by sort of making our hanging plant shape, and we want to make a real big loop on one end. So we're going to do that with a round nose plier and just make a loop. And then we're going to hold the loop with the flat nose pliers here and just kind of start making a spiral shape. Doesn't have to be too exact, and you want it to kind of get wider, and actually might be easier to even do this with your hands, because again the aluminum wire is so soft. But like I said, it doesn't tarnish. It's not going to change your skin color like some of the wires will, or won't tarnish, won't rust. It's going to stay silver on you. Okay, so I've got my little spiral shape, and I'm going to make another large loop at the opposite end. So now I've got a shape that looks kind of like that, which is actually kind of a cool pendant shape. And I'm going to flatten a little more. You can also use the rounded side to get some other texture, other sort of variations in the look of the texture there. Okay, so now we're going to take this little center loop, and we're going to fold it down so that it's facing straight down in the middle of your coil. And then you're just going to kind of work the wire into sort of a basket shape, kind of like a coil basket. And then we're going to bend that top loop so that it sort of folds into the center. And so that's going to give us something to hang from. So we've got our little shape like that. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and make some links, and I'm going to use some more of the thicker gauge aluminum wire, and I'm going to cut about 3 different sections here because I'm going to make some S sort of looking coils to add to it. And I'm just going to give that some quick file. Now if you're using the thinner gauge wire, we do have a tool that works really great for doing this, that you just, it's a cup burr, and you just put it over and you just kind of twist it and it'll file that down. But with this thicker gauge wire, it's not going to work. So we'll just take the file real quickly. Again, I'm just going around the edges and getting rid of that sharp part. So I have a whole lot of plants at home. My husband hates it when I come home with a new one, but in this last year I've really sort of become obsessed with plants, and I love having green things in my house all the time. I've got a really great window in my kitchen where I've got a shelf that's just sort of full of plants. It's kind of like a jungle in there. It's just so nice and cheerful to see. I think that's part of why I like having a lot of plants, is just having all that green and all that life. So now I've got alright, so I've got that done. We'll go ahead and texture this up a bit. And you just want to be real gentle because it is so soft. Hi Katara, how are you today? I'll actually end up using all of these pieces, but we'll just see. I'm going to make them up just in case. So now to make the S, we're going to start at one end and make a coil, and now we're going to start at the opposite end and go the other direction. Oh, is your daughter? How old is she, Katara? I have a daughter who's 10, so she is really into airplanes too. She was begging me to bring one home to her. But I might just give her one because they're really hard to kill. So it's just kind of a messy shape. I don't know. I don't really like that, but we'll go with it. I am going to shorten up these pieces though a little bit because I think that's part of what I don't like is that it was just a little too big. All right, file that down and curve one side. All right, that's more the shape that I wanted. 2, oh, what a great age. How fun. And happy birthday to you and her, Mama. Sometimes in the celebrating, you forget that it's your birthday too, right? I know they've got Mother's Day, but it's not quite the same thing. All right, so now I've got some S's that I'm happy with. All right, so now I'm going to set those aside and I'm going to start working with the 18 gauge wire here. Again, super duper soft. But I'm just going to pull off a section. Okay. You know, sometimes I miss my little girl being 2, and then I remember what it is to have a 2-year-old, and I'm really glad that she's dead. So I was thinking, Beth, actually, that I was going to use this one and then hang something off the bottom of it. So we're going to go ahead, actually, and make, how am I going to do this? This is going to look funky, I think. But it'll be super sparkly. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I'm going to mispronounce your name. Amon, is that how you say it? Yeah, Airplants are super popular before. When we had, or right now, when we had our winter artisan market back in November, I actually bought a couple from one of our vendors that was at the market. She was selling some Airplants and had these really cool planters that looked like pants. They were like these little glass pants. So right now what I'm doing is I'm making a little spiral that's gonna sit at the end of one of my beaded links. And this one I want to do a super tight, what is the glass hanger? Glass hanger. Are you talking about the pendant? All right, so I made this and now we're going to sort of turn it so that it's gonna sit like a head pin straight up and down, and I'm gonna harden it up a little bit and add some texture. So I think from the bottom, I'm going to hang just some simple crystals. And is not straight enough to go through the whole of that bead. So I'm just taking my pliers and kind of flattening out the kinks that are in the top of that wire. so that I can get my bead on. All right, so now got just sort of this little link here. I just want it to be super sparkly because this is going to be hanging probably in the window in my kitchen or in my bathroom. So I want it to be super duper sparkly. I want it to be sending out rainbows everywhere. So we're gonna just keep it simple. I'm not gonna add any spacers or anything. I'm just gonna stick with the crystal on this one. So now I'm gonna make a wrap loop. So I made a bend in my wire. So I gripped it here, made a bend, and now I'm gonna transfer my pliers to the top of the wire to make my loop. And it's gonna need to be a little bit larger of a loop because I'm gonna stick it onto the bottom of this pendant. And then I'm gonna use these to grasp it because they've got a really thin tip. And again, you don't wanna go too tight when you're gripping this wire because it is so soft, you can cause some serious damage to the face of the wire. So I went ahead and hung that off there. We'll trim this edge here. Tuck our end in. And I'm using our gun handle grip pliers today. So alright, so I've got that hanging. And I think I'm going to have another link in between here and the bottom, so that really hangs. So for this one, we're going to start by making our wrap loop. And I'm going to stick it through the top hole of this pendant, like so. And now I'm going to finish wrapping my loop. And I'm just making a real messy loop here. You don't have to worry too much. I mean, you still want it to look finished and nice, so you want to make sure and tuck in your ends, but you don't have to worry about it as much as you would if this were a jewelry piece, because it is just going to be hanging. And no, these should not be hung in a car. I accidentally killed an Airplant not too long ago because I did leave it in my car a little bit too long, and it didn't make it, unfortunately. It was a really nice plant too. I was really bummed about it, but that is the way the plant shrivels when you leave it in a hot car. So I want some darker color in there. Sometimes deciding which order to string can be one of the harder parts, but still pretty simple. All right. I know I felt so bad because I wanted to do this project a couple weeks ago and then ran out of time to do it. And so I didn't want to leave the plant at work, so I took it home with me and then left it in my car. And it was very hot that weekend, and it did not survive. I'm just going to repeat that. Alright, I bring gemstones and natural ones. It's very old colored. Oh, that's really cool, Amon. You should definitely post a picture. I would love to see it. That sounds amazing. Huh. Okay, so I've got my little hanging piece here, and we're going to make a wrap loop. Cutters. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. So I just got to say I'm not loving that section hanging on the bottom. but we'll see what it looks like when it's all finished. I know it's hard to tell, but this is purple, and I didn't want to pick a purple one, so I don't know. Maybe I'll just... Actually, I think I am going to do that instead. So I'm going to cut this one off because I decided I don't like the way that it looks. So we're going to take that off there. And I'm going to make this shell piece into a little dangle. So it's got the same wrapped loop concept. So what's everyone else making this week? You guys have any projects that you're working on? All right, so we'll do that. Add that. It's going to be a tight fit with this wire. All right, what do you think? I think I like that better. Okay, so now we're going to attach this to the little planter basket hanger thing. And we're going to open the loop. Just like with a jump ring, you're going to open your loop like this. Make a couple maybe 2 more links real quick. And then we should be about done. Bracelets, earrings, and watch bands. What kind of watches? So, side tangent while I'm working. Here, I can look at them. We got this large shipment of stone and other random things, and in one of the boxes are these little watch bands. And I was looking at them trying to figure out what to do with them, and I don't know. We'll probably just put them in a grab bag. But what do you think? What would you do with something like this? I don't even know. Something to think about. All right, so we're gonna make a couple of links here. I need my other round nose pliers. Wood burning. I always wanted to try wood burning. I've seen on some other craft sites some really cool projects with the wood burning, and it just looks like a fun project to try. I've got a lot of things on my lists of projects I'd like to try. I'm sure most crafters are the same way, I think. Not the cutters. So it was really fun when I made these for Christmas presents. I you know, picked out different beads in my stash for each different person and kind of thought about the color palette of their home or where they might hang it. And so that was a real fun part of the project. I like that. That's one of my favorite parts about making gifts for people, is really being able to personalize. I mean, especially for family members and stuff who, you know, can be so hard to shop for. You know, my mom especially is very hard to shop for, so this was one of her presents. I made her a hanger. And let's see, let's do... I really wanted to use a scarab bead. I just don't think that these are so cute, but I just don't think it's gonna work. I would turn that watch band into a headband. Oh, that could be cool. I wonder if that would probably pull on the hair though. See, I was thinking maybe using it to make a bracelet with different lengths or different types of links on it or something. I don't know. Keep looking at it, trying to decide. I like, yeah, handmade's my favorite type of gift. It's one great thing about our winter artisan market is having so many vendors. I've gotten a lot of gifts for people over the years at our artisan markets, which, by the way, we do have one coming up in August, real soon. Actually, I think, what's today's date? I think it's a month away. Exactly. Gosh, that really snuck up on me. Alright, so now I got a couple of these links made. So we're going to just connect them here. And again, this wire is really flexible, so if you sort of misshape it or if it doesn't quite fit the size of the plant that you're using, you can always sort of work the wire and make it a little bit bigger and sort of customize it to fit your plant. Chainmail. Oh, chainmail is another thing I've never quite tackled before. It's always been very intimidating to me. Oh, chainmail for the watch band. That would be kind of cool. All right, so you want to make sure that this center loop is sitting in the center because then it won't hang right. So we'll go ahead and I think that is about as long as I want it. So I'm gonna make a little hook for it, or a bigger hook actually. All right, so I'm gonna make a loop at one end. And then I'm going to use the head of my hammer just as a round surface. Kind of like making an ear wire, actually. Oh, a Klingon sash, that'd be kind of cool. Oh, Chris, you'll be visiting Washington. Yes, you must stop in, and definitely, if you do plan on stopping by, plan to spend a few hours here, because even just to walk from one end of the store to the other end of the store, it's going to take you some time, and that's not even, you know, exploring what's in all the drawers and everything and all of the different nooks and crannies where we have so much product. It's pretty incredible if you've never been here. If you want to see a Google Live tour of our showroom, you can go on our locations page on our website, and you can see the Google Live tour that's on there. So I made this, and I'm gonna just kind of hook the end again. It looks like a giant ear wire, but I'm gonna go ahead and work harden that up. Stick that on there. So there is the plant hanger. Now let's stick the plant in it. I think I'm going to have to widen this up just slightly because I think my plant might not fit. So let's see how that works. And sometimes you might actually have to put the plant in first and then bend the top loop over it, just to make sure that it's going to hang upright. And again, once you get your plant sort of in place, you can work this up and around it so that it stands the way you want. And there we go. And we're done. So let's go ahead and angle you back up. Scoot back a little bit. How pretty is that? So you hang this in your window. I think that might actually go in my kitchen window. But breaking it up with the little S-links sort of adds a little extra interest to it. You can make this as long or as short as you want. You can add the hook is good to add if you're going to be, you know, if you have something already, a place to hang it. If not, you can always just use a clear wire. Stacy, I got these air plants just off Amazon. Just search for air plants, and I think this was a set of 5, and I think it was like 15 or something. I don't quite remember, but you can also find them at your local gardening store. Might have them also. That's where I've gotten some of the other ones I've had in the past. But yeah, so that is the little air plant. I love the way it all comes out. So yeah, just to do your feedings for your air plant, you're gonna just get it wet and let it soak. And since this aluminum won't rust, you can just soak the whole thing, or you can take the plant out of there. They're super easy to care for. Let me see, you guys are all commenting. I want to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Oh, you have been here before, Chris. Yeah. Oh, Hillary, I work here and I have to spend every day here, but even if I didn't work here, I'd probably still spend every day here and a whole lot of my paycheck. Stacy says you have to spend like 4 hours plus in the showroom. Yeah, you know, I was saying 2 hours because, yeah, it sounded good. But yeah, you really need a whole lot of time to come here and visit, especially if you're really into beading, because there's so much stuff. Thank you, Jessie. Yeah, Stacy, these are so, yeah, Tara, I got the special food the last time I ordered some plants. This is from Hinterland Trading, again from Amazon. It's the Tillandsia, I think is the actual what the plants are called. But that's the air plant feeder that once a month. Super easy. The aluminum wire is fairly inexpensive. And you get a whole bunch of it, and there's actually, like, I've done a lot of different projects with this stuff. They're really fun to make rings out of because, again, they're not going to change your skin color, they're not going to tarnish. I've made some really cool pendants and stuff, so maybe in a future live video we'll play around a little bit more with the aluminum wire. But for now, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. So I will go ahead and post a link to the products used from our website onto this comment stream, or comment, whatever you want to call it here. And we will see you on Friday. Ah, bummer, Hillary. Stacy, you had 4 hours and ran out of time. Oh no, that's the worst. You know, at least we have the galley, so if you do want to make a day trip out of Shipwreck Beads, you can come here, you get your coffee. I got my coffee. They do sandwiches and soups and stuff too, so that's a lot. So yeah, you really can spend all day here, have your coffee breakfast, have your lunch, do some shopping, spend, you know, we're open 9 to 7 now with our new summer hours, so you could spend a whole lot of time in the store shopping if you really wanted to. Or you can shop 24 hours a day on our website, which is great. Right now is the last day of our pendants and charms and findings and component sale, so if you need to pick up some essentials, then you can check out our website and see what's on sale. That's through today. And have a wonderful Wednesday. We will see you Friday at 4 o'clock for our happy half hour. Not quite sure what we'll be making, but I'm sure it will be sparkly because that's what happy hour is about, right? Have a good Wednesday, and we'll see you again soon.